first step to using the lights is to turn on the console. To do so, press the button on the front of the console. It'll turn blue. Next, go behind the light board itself and hit the switch. This turns on the light board. It has to be done in this sequence. The most important switch on the light board itself will be the master switch. You'll find this about midway on the board, and it stands separate from the rest of the other switches and sliders. Move it up, of course, to make the masters come up, and then back down for the masters to come back down. If you absolutely need to have everything blacked out, there's the blackout button directly above the master slider. You press it once to toggle it on, and then again to turn it back off. Left of the master slider, you find the submasters. These are used to control clusters of channels and are generally used for creating, storing, and manipulating scenes. It's recommended that you keep track of what each of them do because it's easy to lose track. Again, slide it up to bring it up, and back down to turn it off. You can hit the buttons below it to bump the lights up. The monitor to the left of the light board is the cue and the channel screen. This is the direct output of the board. It'll show you which lights are up. The right monitor is the computer board. It shows you more or less everything else. On the right of the board, you find the keypad and the channel manipulation buttons. Channel, you press that once to select a channel, and then you put in the channel number. For instance, channel 1 through 50. This selects those 50 channels. You then hit the at, which tells the computer that you're going to want it at a certain intensity. You can say 10, for example, to bring those 50 lights to an intensity of 10. You hit release to let go of all lights you have selected. All of the through and buttons are used just like their mathematical functions. They're used to select a series of channels to bring up or to otherwise manipulate. Use through to select an inclusive series of numbers, and use and to select a distinct set of them. The accept button works very similarly. You can use it to remove lights from a series if you're trying to work with a large number of them, but not a selection. Use it in a very similar way where you mathematically accept certain ones. You can hit the at full buttons to bring up a light or series of lights to their highest intensity as dictated by the master slider. The cue buttons are used mostly for shows. This helps you so that you're not scrambling around the board trying desperately to get lights in order. They're located to the right of the master switch, and you've got the go button, which moves the cues one forward and uses the time that you have specified in each cue. This will be your single most used button. Hold does exactly what it says on the tin. It prevents the cue from progressing any further forward. You don't use it as often. Those sliders you don't touch because they control the ghost of more or less the ghost of the board. It prevents a light from coming up all the way or from going down all the way, and are too complicated to be used effectively. They end up breaking more than they help. Those three buttons are the modification buttons for the cue. The bottom one is back. That's used when you've gone too far and you need to go one or more cues back.